Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of
It's About Time.
So, we were going to have our trusty confidant, Dave, here. Unfortunately, he has a doctor's appointment.
Does he?
Yes.
I didn't know he was supposed to be here.
Yes. Well, we invited him tonight, but he just couldn't make it, so it's just Drew and I. I hope you guys have been enjoying a lot. We've done a lot of videos.
This has been an It's About Time marathon.
Yeah, it has been. So tonight, we're doing something interesting. So what I did beforehand was I had a whole list of episode ideas that we were going to do. And I numbered them 1 through 8. And I said, Drew, just choose a number, any number you want. He chose number 8. Happened to be watch auctions. So we're actually going into this one for episode number...
89.
We're up to 89? So 11 more till 100.
Huh?
Damn. Okay. Interesting. So today we're going to talk about watch auctions. Now there's 2 different types of watch auctions. The first one Drew's going to go into a little bit more of, which is eBay. And the second one, we have a cool little clip. I believe it was from Christie's watch auction. This was going back a while ago, or maybe last year, or I don't know, this past year. I can't remember when it was. And I'm going to detail what really goes into like these serious, like, the amount of money that you see people bid, you're going to be like, is that play money? It's not. So Drew, take it away with eBay a little bit.
Well, the first type of auctions you think of when you think of any type of auctions, you have to start with eBay, as we said before. And eBay was the first to go into any type of watch auctions.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may think, oh, was it Amazon? Amazon actually used to have an auction site.
Did they really?
Yeah, back in the mid-90s to late 90s, they actually used to have one. They shut it down because of fraud. There was too many fraudulent items being sold that were listed as real. It's one thing to list something as fake and then sell. It's another thing to list something
eBay, I
as
guess,
real.
started the authentication
Exactly,
thing.
which we talked about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, go check out the episode.
So, what happened
Well,
was...
actually, wait, before we do that, what's on the rest? Well, I'm gonna go briefly, because Drew's got something he's going to want to show you. Guys, it's the Hamilton Khaki Aviation. No surprise there. But more importantly, Drew, what's on your wrist?
This is really cool. I just got this in today.
Here's actually what I want to do. I want to hold it up for you, have you explain it and everything. So you
This-
guys can't really...
Got it in
Now,
focus?
hold on. Let me get the flashlight and let me... Yeah, let's see if we
he's
can
going
do this.
hardcore, Mitch.
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go. This is an Omega Jump Hour. Very rare.
I'm trying. It's not working.
Not working?
No. But whatever. It's better than nothing.
Oh, you just got to focus. There you go.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, we got
Lovely. This is an Omega Jump Hour. This only was released in 1998 for 1 year for an anniversary edition, celebrating the 1920s and the 1930s, which was that torno type of shape, as you can see from the sapphire crystal. It does have an anti-reflective case coating, as Jared loves. It is, like I said, a jump hour. It does have a COSC certified movement in it.
Yeah, really?
Yep, the 1211 movement. Nope, it does.
COSC certified?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
So they were able to put in their own, I think it's 1211 Omega movement into that, which is COSC certified.
It's like a salmon-y dial.
It's a salmon
It's
dial,
kinda cool.
which is cool. It can change color based on where you are, what lighting you have. It does look a little bit different in different lighting, as you can see, through different pictures. But they did make it in a couple different ways. This is the stainless steel bracelet with the, obviously, the stainless steel watch. They did make one in 18 karat gold.
It's got the like the constellation kind of clasp.
That's correct.
Which is kind of cool.
It's got the
Sign
glass
buckle.
buckle.
That's
Yep.
one thing Omega always does. They always sign.
They do it
everything.
right. They do their
Yeah.
shit right. Omega was great at doing their. They always put the, as you can see, they even put the Omega logo
clasp,
on
yeah.
the clasp over there as well.
I'm guessing that the crown is even. Yeah, of course the crown is signed.
Yeah, it's
It's hard to do
signed,
that.
nice and light. It's not heavy, and
No.
it looks nice on the wrist. It's not too big. There was only, I think, 2,000 of these produced.
Let me ask you this question.
It's really
right?
cool.
Which one do you like better, like the Cartier Roadster or something like this?
It's a good call.
Yeah, right. I had
Good
to.
call. I think the Roadster has the advantage because it has the date Whereas this one, as a jump hour, most jump hours do not have a date.
But also
Number
that
one, it
Roadster
doesn't look
has
good.
that blue. Which
That blue
is
dial
just,
is
oh my God.
fantastic.
It's a panty dropper.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Not even a
fantastic.
question.
Great watch when
Yeah.
it doesn't get magnetized.
Interesting.
But they made this in 3 different ways. This was the whole stainless steel version. They also made one with the leather strap as well. But they also made an 18 karat gold version of this watch.
Of just the case?
Just the
or
case with the leather strap as well. So they did it 3
okay.
different ways. And
which is kind of cool.
yeah, if you go on eBay, you can find them. But you can mostly find these more in Japan.
How much did you pay for that one?
This was I paid about 2.
Okay.
So 2,000. New they were about 3,500. So
So it held pretty decent value.
pretty decent value.
Yeah, pretty decent value.
And it's what 20 years old. So not too bad.
And how long have you been wearing it for now?
This is my first day with it.
Oh wow.
Yep. So I just came this afternoon. I sized it myself. Sizing was a little tricky.
Let me see. Oh wait, take it off for a minute.
As you
Just
can see the.
And we're gonna get back into our, regularly
You
scheduled.
see the links there. They do have the little enders, which I like to call
Yeah,
them, which
yeah, you
fall
gotta
out.
split-
And
you
then you
gotta
gotta
squeeze
put
it
them
in a
back
little bit,
in
yeah.
and then pound it back in. So the links are a little tricky to get
But
out.
the good
I
news is
found I
that
did
you
it.
could actually pound them out from either way.
Yeah, you can.
Actually, no,
No?
there are
There
arrows.
are
yeah,
arrows.
Sorry, there are arrows.
I did have to follow the arrow, but you push them back in the opposite way. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it did work.
Cool.
I had to take 3 out. So it could come with all the links. But really cool. You wouldn't picture Omega doing a jump hour. You see this a lot of jump hours. You see from Jaro Genta. You see them from even Epos. You see them from Oris. You don't see them from Omega because they only did this 1 year, just as an anniversary, as a tribute back to the golden age of watches, what they like to call it, back in the 1920s and 1930s when it really came into view. That's why you have that kind of brigade type design.
Oh, yeah.
For the,
Yeah, absolutely.
they did everything like they did in the 1930s. This almost looks like my Illinois Railroad
What's
watch.
kind of cool with this, and the reason why they did it, is because they wanted people to still see the hour through the circle with the.
That was really unique because
Yeah.
most watches don't do that. They just forget it and then it goes over.
Yeah, and then you can't see it, and then it's like, wait, what time is it? So,
Right. So
yeah.
that's a quick little
Interesting.
review on the Omega jump hour.
We just love to get sidetracked.
Yes.
Okay.
But back to our anyway. I found this again on eBay.
Watch auctions,
Now we're
yeah.
back. So I got it on eBay, but I bought this as a buy it now. eBay is mostly known, as we all know, for its auctions.
And by the way, go back to an episode I did a while ago about how to sell your watches on eBay. It's, I don't know how many episodes ago now it is, but check out that episode because we're going to go, I guess, maybe a little bit more in depth now.
And the biggest question with an eBay auction is it smarter to bid early or late? And I get this all the time. Drew, should I put it in early or should I put my bid in later? I got to tell you, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was just about to say that actually.
Because guess what? Over 80% of the time, in the final minute, everybody's bidding anyway.
But not only that, here's my point that I kind of want to say with it. You could put your bid in late or early. The $1,000,000 question is this. How much are you willing to pay for it? Because if you're just going to bid $500 and you put the bid in last minute, it may not hold it anyways.
No, it doesn't really matter.
So it depends on how much you're willing to pay. How badly do you want it? Are you willing to sacrifice everything for it? Then in that case, you're going to have to bid at the last second.
Yeah, and what's the demand for it? If you're
Yeah.
going for a really popular piece, guys, the odds of you winning it are slim anyway, based on how many people are going against
Especially
you.
if you have like 40, 45 other bidders.
Unless you really want to overpay, or if you're going for a piece that nobody's really looking for, and the guys had sitting around for a while, odds are you're going to win it no matter what you bid or what time you bid it at. So that's the most common question about eBay. Is it smarter to win? Is it smarter to bid early or late?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter,
Yeah, no.
based on what you're bidding on, especially on watches.
How many times have you lost auctions?
When I bid on watches,
Even whether it was early or last minute.
50% of the time,
Yeah.
50 to 60 probably.
That's a high percentage.
It's a high
It's a
percentage.
very high percentage.
Usually, in the ones I win, sometimes you overpay, and you know you overpay, but you just wanted it. So
I
you
mean, been there, done
shit.
that.
Been there,
Been
done
there,
that. Sometimes regretted that. Sometimes
Yeah.
didn't regret it. Sometimes I still have those watches.
Mhm.
So it all depends on the piece. You learn over time whether it was a good or bad deal. You don't really know right away. So anyway, that's a little bit about eBay auctions. Now we're going to venture into higher auctions,
All
which
right.
is the one Jared is now going to segue into.
So, all right, so guys, sorry about that. So here. I'm just gonna give you like a little brief, not history, but just a little entry into it. So Phillips and Christie's are really huge auction houses, not only in the United States, but they're really worldwide. London, Japan, Hong Kong, New York. There's probably other locations worldwide that I don't know about, but probably one of the biggest, one of the most known auctioneers is Orel Box, and he's the one who actually auctioned off Paul Newman's Daytona. He's probably the most famous. Him and his wife, Phillips and Russo, whatever it is, kind of do it together. And Christie's is another one that's very big. I don't know if it's nearly as big. I think maybe it's been around a little longer, I think, but really quite interesting. What happens at these watch auctions? There's several different layers to these, okay, guys? Again, remember, you have extremely wealthy people who are coming in from literally all over the world. What these auction houses do is the first thing that they do is they're, if you go to the very, very beginning, that's why this episode is going to be a little longer. What they do is they first, they need to get the buyer, or the seller in to obviously sell the product. And it's not easy to do that, again, does somebody want to sell something or do they not want to sell something? They have a long authentication process. They need to get the entire story, multiple meetings with them. They need to examine the product. It's kind of like with a movie when you do pre-production. There's a lot of planning with it. And then, it's like a negotiation. There's a little back and forth. You have to remember that the auction house, they never truly own the item that's up for auction. It's really the seller that owns it.
It's really on consignment.
Hence why there's always that, buyer, the buyer's premium or whatever it is, because, the auction house, after all fees and everything, it's around like a 25% markup.
Up to 30% markup. Yeah.
And that's what the auction houses get.
Right. Get 30%.
So, I mean, like, it all starts there. There's a lot of negotiation. They have to, usually get the piece certified, inspected. They want to make sure it's in its original condition. There are certain requirements that these auction houses do require for the pieces to have, and if they don't meet those requirements, they won't even take it further. It's kind of like an interview. You go over step 1, step 2, a phone interview, step 2 is in person. They like you go further. That's kind of where they start. And then, after a while, what they do is, they inspect the piece. They're going to take a lot of photos of it. These auction houses build these catalogs, like these programs, if you will. And what they do is they feature the items in there. And a lot of times what they do is they do these worldwide kind of tours with the watches. And they bring them all over because they want to entice people from other parts of the world. They advertise for it, they go through marketing, they do everything with this stuff. So it's a huge production. And they want to get all the biggest buyers interested. So they, this is free and open to the public. Like, you can go to any, open kind of house that they have. They certain designated days and times, before, months before an auction is going to happen. And you can go there, you could ask any question you want on the item, you could take any sort of photographs, pick up a program. It's a good way to get yourself exposed to what's a watch really worth, but what's also the demand for it. You get expert knowledge from the auctioneers, but you also get expert watch knowledge from the people who have been at many auctions and are seasoned collectors. So that's kind of like the next step that they, that they go through. And it's just, it's really just as interesting as anything. And then what they usually do is, again, months out, they do the whole tour thing just to get people interested. And then, what they normally do is nowadays, they actually have what's kind of cool. They do these usually a lot during the week, and then, sometimes they broadcast, but a lot of times they have like the news, the watch websites, and they'll be like, oh, breaking news, this and that watch sold for, X amount of dollars. So what the auction houses have started to do, especially in the last couple of years or so, is that they actually broadcast their watch auctions online. So people can people can literally, there's a few different ways that people bid. I'm going to go into more after you guys, watch this next segment. But it's really interesting that once you get to the watch auction, there's like 1,000,001 things that happen there, and it can almost make your head spin. Like if you're playing craps in a casino, very fast game. It's the same thing with watch auctions, anyways, I think now's a good time. We're going to cut you over to the, I'm going to bring you guys over to the computer. And what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to get the lights a little bit more dimmed in here. Alright. So, guys, now you're going to see, this is not live, but this happened, I can't remember the date, but this was from Christie's, an evening of exceptional watches. I'm going to let you guys watch, and then we're going to go into it a little bit. Hey guys, welcome to Christie's Auction House live online, where you can watch current auctions happening. So this is for our episode, YouTube. It's about time. What happens at watch auctions? So I'm just kind of get you guys ready for a lot that's going to come up with a Rolex, supposed to go for, you know, a bit of money and things like that. I'll actually maybe even show you too. So I go online a lot and I watch these things, and this is just to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what happens when an auction happens. Christie's, of course, one of the finest auction houses in the world. This particular one, it's called an evening of exceptional watches, and you can watch all these, you know, live online. They show you all the different lots that are going up. Tonight it was slated to be 100, although I think one of the watches has been taken off. So, you know, they'll show you what watch, you know, is being auctioned off, to give you a little detail on it. Go on to the next one, and then they'll show you the live auction with right here being the current bid. So we're going to start to watch during the next one. I just wanted to, you know, I'll explain to you guys a little bit during the episode what actually happens, but in the meantime, I'm going to turn up the volume in a second, and you guys are going to be able to really enjoy this. So again, this is for our It's About Time episode. Let's start to tune in now for the next lot.
26,000. For paddle 3155, 26,000. Lot number 26. Rolex this time. Lot number 26 now. Triple calendar with moon phases. $70,000 at $70,000. Thank you. For 70, 80,000. Thank you, sir. In the room now. $80,000. At 80, 85,000, 90,000. You'll be at 90 is here. 95,000. Back of the room. 100,000. 10, sir, if you like. 100 is there. 105 at 105. 110 now at $110,000. For $110,000. One more, sir. No more. 110 then. In the back. 115,000 at 115. 120,000 at 120,000. 25. 125,000. 130,000.
And yes, this is actual money. US dollars.
140.
In case you guys are scratching your heads wondering, is this play money?
140 then. This side, sir. Ahead of the two of you here. 140 on my left at 100.
This is actually the estimate that it's
selling it now.
Supposed to like go for, which obviously falls
140,000.
within 1 to 150.
Sold $140,000. Thank you very much, sir. And your paddle number is 628.
Let's watch the next one. Why not?
Lot number 27. Lot number 27 now. By Rolex, the chronograph in 18 karat gold for $30,000. At $30,000, 32,000. At $40,000. Thank you, sir. At $40,000. Second row of the room for $40,000. 45,000 now ahead of you, sir. At $45,000. 50, sir? Yes, $50,000. We have it. At $50,000, I'm selling here with the gentleman in the room. $50,000. You're all out in the back. $50,000 for you, sir. Paddle 631. $50,000.
You can tell these go by pretty quickly.
Showing on our screens. Lot number 28 is the Rolex with the tropical dial. Lot 28. $90,000. At $90,000, thank you, for 90, 95,000, 100,000, at 110, 120,000, 130, 140,000, $150,000. Seated bid in the room now for 150. Your bid at 150, 160 now, at 160,000. $300,000.
Oh, shit.
310. 310,000, 320,000, 400,000 in the back there at $400,000. 450,000, 500, sir, if you like. At 450, the bid is here with Eliza. At $450,000. For 450,000.
Holy Adam.
This side, 450. Holding with Eliza, waiting for the room. At $450,000 on the telephone and selling now. $450,000, 450. Sold for you, Eliza, $450,000. Thank you. And your pedal number is 1745. Thank you. Lot number 29. Lot 29.
So anyways, we're going to bring this back down. Like I said, I just wanted to show. Alright. So, that was a little taste of what happens at watch auctions. And the last one that you guys saw, that went up to $450,000. That's not play money, people. Okay?
And you just see how it jumped from 150. It looked like the room was dead.
The question is why, though? Right?
And yeah, I mean, that's
Okay.
basically what you see.
So, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of why. And of course, it goes back to eBay auctions, it goes back to anything. There's some Rolexes, or some watches in general, that are more rare. That one ended up having the tropical dial, so it went for a little bit more. Maybe it was a triple calendar. Maybe it was in gold, like 18 karat. But these are watches that are a little bit more rare. They always have an estimate of where they're going to go, but sometimes they go below that, sometimes they go way above it, and sometimes they fall right in it. Now, the interesting thing is, there's a few different ways to bid, and a few different ways of how they collect the bids and how the bidding goes. Number one is that they always have a row of people that work for the auction house that are on their phone with the clients. Usually, you know, not in the room, obviously, but they're overseas.
Right.
And they're highly interested bidders. You know, people, if they're going to bid on these things, they need to have credit checks. They need to have their bank accounts verified. Like, you don't just go in, like, you know, Adam and be like, I'd like to place a bid. It just doesn't work like that. You know, you have to register and you have to show proof that you got some money going on. Because that's the only way, I don't know how they collect payment. Maybe it's by certified check, by bank wire, whatever it is. So they always have people on the phones because they're on their phones with their clients somewhere that's nowhere near the location. Then there's other times where the auctioneer has a piece of paper that's in front of them, and what they do is that they actually people bid before the auction happens, just to sometimes generate some action, but then they also kind of want something like, all right, I'm not going to be there, I'm just going to give you, a verbal paper bid, just put it down. So the auction always starts off like, oh, starting the bid at like $50,000. I have it right here on paper. Someone in the room be like, oh, 60. Nope, sorry, 70. I have it on paper. The auctioneer goes really quickly. If you ever see Oral Boxing, he's like the greatest auctioneer in the world. He talks quickly and in multiple languages. Sometimes, it is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I'd like to see it in person, but when I actually watched the Paul Newman being auctioned off and I was there watching it, I was like crying. I was like, oh my God. He's that good. So they have it on paper ahead of time, they have it in the room, they have it on phone calls, they have it online, they have monitors actually as they're streaming this.
I'm sure people texting it.
No, that's one of the things that they don't have yet.
Not verified enough?
Nope. They have it on paper, like ahead of time, in the room, through phone calls. They have it online as well through their direct website. And, again, these watches just get bid up, and the people that are on the phones that actually like generate the money, they do get a cut of it because they're the ones working hard to try to get their clients to bid and be like, oh, go up higher. Nah, maybe I don't want to do it. Or yeah, put that bid in. They do it. See, like that girl that literally sold that watch for like $450,000. Maybe even 2% of it, but still, that's a lot of money.
That's a huge
That's a lot of money
to some people.
Absolutely,
So, I mean, I think the main question people would ask, and
yeah.
I know this comes to mind,
please,
is the fact.
Ask anything.
Let's say you win one of these auctions.
Correct.
And you don't pay for it. What happens to you?
There were actually rumors that the person, and I don't think that this was true, it was just around the hype of it, who won the Paul Newman actually didn't pay. It's just like anything else, really. If somebody does not pay, first of all, they're going to be banned from any auction going forward. in
True.
any auction house. It's just not going to even be a question. You know, but then also it's kind of like eBay. You know, sometimes they know other buyers that are interested.
We go to the second highest bidder.
Correct,
basically.
and they'll go to the other bidder. You know, because they keep track of who's bidding and who's not. You know, they say this paddle bid, okay, but most times that does not happen. It has. That's a great question. It has happened. And it's just like eBay, you know, you try to do a second chance offer to people. You obviously don't want to have it, sitting around. It's not going back on the auction block. You know, let's be real here. It's going to go through another channel. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and again, that's why they vet people ahead of time. And this is way more serious than like an eBay or anything else is.
I think the closest thing you get to see this in person, in real life, because obviously it's very tough to get into these auctions. If you, for people who have gone on a cruise, you see this same format with art auctions. Mm-hmm. They always have an art auction on the boat, and everybody gets their paddles, and they can, not really phone in, but they have other places you can do write-in bids and stuff like that, as Jared was talking about. I know in every cruise I've been on, it's the same format. So they do have it on art auction. If you ever want to see what an auction looks like on your next cruise, go to one of the art auctions.
And isn't it cool?
It is pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Because you never know who, at the last minute, it could double. And you're like, where did that come from? And then all of a sudden, like you saw with that last auction,
oh my God,
a flurry of other bids on top of that. So where was that in the beginning of the game? So we were all looking at that like,
that answers our question. Is it better to bid early or later?
Doesn't matter. Like I said, you're still going to get it. You're still going to get the money for it, whether it's early or later. It really doesn't matter because the top price is still going to be the top price.
And a lot, to your point, it's interesting. Watch auctions and art auctions are completely different. Art auctions, way higher bidders for the most part. For fine art, you're talking about paintings that go into the millions easily.
Oh, sure, but the ones on cruises and go anywhere between 200 and 20,000. So I mean, you're in the same range that you're talking about here with some of these. Not really the Rolexes that are going 150 and 200,000.
Now the next question is, how does the item get to the person? Listen, a lot of times they do end up shipping it, with insurance and things like that. And I'm sure there are rare occasions, and I could be wrong on this, where maybe it is delivered to them. Depending on how much they pay, depending on how much they do auction. Because sometimes the auction houses, they do bring people in on jets, and they're like, all right, it's like a casino. Come on in, not a problem.
Yeah. It's quite long.
It's a huge world, but that's what made this episode, and by the way, I was planning on waiting for this episode for a little while, but because you chose it tonight,
my favorite number.
It actually gave me a little bit of goosebumps and butterflies, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much almost everything that goes into watch auctions. If you guys have any questions about it, feel free to write in, drop us an email, write a comment, whatever it is, but even Google it too. Go on to Christie's, go on to Phillips' website. You can now. Auction season is over right now. Next year there's going to be some probably.
When does it usually start up?
Usually, beginning to maybe mid-ish year or so, maybe right after the holidays or so. But it's just, if you guys have a chance to watch it online,
pretty cool.
Do it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty exhilarating TV when you get like that last one we saw.
And it's real money.
You're like, wow, is this Monopoly money? Nope, it's actually real.
It's not.
They actually have this money, and for them it's like, some of these people, it's like an allowance. It's pretty sick. But, guys, again, thank you for watching this episode with us. Again,
I think this is one of the more interesting episodes.
This was quite interesting. Even I was pretty shocked that...
it was, right?
He was setting that up as like a volleyball spike.
I was just trying to... like I said, this was... I was almost going to wait for this one for the 100th episode, but we're going to do something better.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, guys, we loved having you aboard once again. And guys, again, keep subscribing, keep asking questions.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more. Videos coming. You guys saw in the last episode, I kind of gave you guys like a preview of what else is to come. But yeah, like, subscribe, keep asking us questions. Doesn't matter what it is. Nothing's too stupid or whatever. And yeah, I think that wraps it up.
That'll do it, and we'll see you in another episode of.
It's About Time.